just when you finally give up on the team, you finally accept that relegation is happening, this team, Tottenham Hotspur, has a strange way of pulling you back in and making you believe again, making you believe that there's possibly a chance that we could be staying up. Now, when I was on the way to Anfield today, I was expecting us to get absolutely smoked. And yes, of course, I know we did not win because a lot of rival fans were saying, oh, they're celebrating a draw. But mate, when you are at the bottom of the league, fighting relegation, any point helps. And with Spurs' record at Anfield, to come away with a draw and be disappointed not to get a win, I think we have to be happy about it because look, these performances haven't come around too often, especially under Igor Tudor as well. This is the first point that he's actually got in his 5 games in charge. Of course, one of them was a Champions League game, but still, he did not win that anyway. So the fact that we've gone to Liverpool away, drawn 1-1 after being 1-0 down as well. Come on, we knew that we could have just absolutely crumbled, but Spurs actually gave us something to be proud of. And as I mentioned earlier, I think we should have got the 3 points, but you'll take a point, of course, helps us in this relegation battle, but it all means nothing if we don't do anything against Nottingham Forest. But today, I would like to say, obviously talking about the Igor Tudor lineup, I'm not really sure how I feel about Jed Spence on the left wing back and Sousa on the right wing back. Obviously, I guess in hindsight, technically, I might have worked because obviously we got a positive performance, but I still don't really understand that because we created a few chances from getting balls into the box, but I think we would have been able to get more balls into the box if them guys were on their stronger foot because once again, Jed Spence always has to come inside to whip it in, and Sousa obviously has to do the same. Of course, I know Sousa had the shot that from where I stood behind the goal looked like it was going goalwards. Obviously, I haven't seen the replay. But it did look like it was going goalwards. So obviously, of course, maybe you could say that, but I doubt the reason why putting a left wing back at right wing back was for him to score from 30 yards out. Surely that was not in the game plan. So that was the one thing I have 2 questions the starting lineup. But other than that, of course, Xavi Simons not in the team. But mate, if Igor Tudor needs to get a result, and he believes Xavi's not the right guy to get him in there, get him that result, then obviously there's got to be reason behind that as well. I think everyone in the team was great today. Radu Dragic seems pretty average again, but the thing is, he's good at defending. I would admit that in the defensive actions he done very well. It's just when he gets the ball, when he's trying to play with the ball or when he's trying to dribble, that's obviously not his strong point, which is also weird as well because Ange Postecoglou signed him, so I don't really know what Ange saw in him then, because to play in an Ange team, the centre-backs need to play football, and Radu Dragusin cannot play football, but of course can defend. Kevin Danso, outstanding. I think Pedro Porro was all right. He was getting a lot of stick from the Spurs fans, because obviously he was getting beaten very easily by Rio Engamoa, but that Rio is good, man. Honestly, watching him up close in the flesh, he is decent. So obviously, I understand that Pedro Porro it isn't a crowd favorite, but come on, once you're against a tricky winger, like what you're in it to do, like if you fly in, you're just gonna be giving away fouls all the time anyway. So tough afternoon for Pedro, but he was playing against, I'd say, Liverpool's probably best player. The goal, once again, as I haven't seen the replay of the highlights, but from my angle, it did look like it was not straight down the middle, but it looked like Vicario could have done better because it wasn't like a top bin. Maybe given the benefit of the doubt, because I know Szoboszlai does have mad power in his shots, so did that catch him off? Maybe, I don't know. I could be doing Vicario a bit of extra justice, so you guys let me know if you saw that, but from where I was sitting, it did look like he should have done better. But nonetheless, as I said, how many times would you see Spurs crumble after going 1-0 down in a ground like Anfield as well, that the fans could really start to get behind the crowd, the team, when that happened, but the Spurs fans kept on pushing, the Spurs team kept on pushing. Richie had multiple chances as well. He loves playing against Liverpool. Of course, with his Everton connection, he always loves to get on the score sheet against them. He always put in 100% against them, especially because the Liverpool fans absolutely hate him. So it's obviously extra motivation. And that man, Richarlison, coming up with the goods late on in the game to get us a point. And I still think after then, yes, I know Liverpool had a few sort of half chances. I don't really remember having them anything mad clear cut. Of course, in that first 10, 15 minutes, they were all sort of all over us. But you've got to weather them storms when you go to grounds like that. And then, yeah, the game was all ours. As I said, disappointed to not come away with the 3 points. But positive performance, positive result in the scheme of things. Of course, you'd love to get the win. I just don't know what that does for Igor Tudor, though, because the whole reports are saying that he was due to be sacked after this game. So the fact that he got a performance out of this team, does that mean they then give him a bit more time? I really don't know. Maybe you give him the Atletico game anyway, because we're pretty much out of the Champions League, so just see what he can do there. But I really don't know, honestly. It's a crazy one, of course. After that Atletico game and a few of the other first games he's had, it looks like he couldn't get a tune out of this team. But interestingly enough, we seemed like a cohesive unit without Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero in the team. And last season, that's something we could never say. And the season before, that's something we could never say. But if them two players are going to be moaning and down in tools, are they actually really hindering us? Because, as I said, Kevin Danso and Radu Dragusin aren't better defenders. Kevin Danso's top, man. But yeah, they're not better defenders than Mickey van der Ven and Radu Dragusin. But Radu Dragusin and Mickey van der Ven and Kevin Danso, both managed to concede the least amount of goals we conceded in this Igor Tudor reign. Am I correct in saying that? Because it was Arsenal for Fulham 2-3. I can't remember what the 2. Yeah, so I'm guessing, yeah. So it's the least goals we've conceded under Igor Tudor, and two of our best defenders weren't playing. So is that something we need to look at as well? It's a tough one because you can't really drop the captain Romero, and I don't know if he can drop Van der Ven, but Kevin Danso has to stay in that team because he was absolutely outstanding. And yeah, as I say, this result is going to mean nothing if we don't do anything against Nottingham Forest. Of course, the Atletico Madrid game, I'm not expecting too much of because it's a tough ask. We've got to win 3-0 or by 3 goals to at least go to extra time, and then we're going to have to win by 4 to go through the tie. So that's a very, very tough ask. All focus now should be on Nottingham Forest. Hope we can recover some more players. Good to see a couple of the boys get debuts. I believe that was Callum Olasasi's Premier League debut. I'm not sure if he's played in the Premier. I know he did come on in the Champions League game. I don't think he has played. I don't know if he's actually played Champions League. Was it Europa League? I don't know. But as in, I know he's definitely played a European game. Don't think he's played in the Premier League. So good for him to get a debut. James Rousewell also came on to get a debut as well. So a few positives there. Of course, not losing is always a positive as well. Yeah, that's all I've really got to say on it. It's a long day. So I'm going to go home. We'll go home. I'm at home. Going to go to bed. Then we'll talk again in a week at some point because this Forest game is absolutely huge. So we'll discuss that when it comes. But of course, if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, whatever, share, hype, all of that, and we'll be back. Peace and love. Come on, you Spurs.